Cordisco's Corner Store is hosting its 5th annual chess championship. The Broome County Chess Championship Francis Cordisco Memorial got started over the weekend. Organizer John Cordisco says it's an opportunity for chess fans, both experts and newcomers, to test their level of skill. There are 2 sections depending on level of play, and both have cash prizes for the top 3 winners.
We draw some really good players. There's some pretty good players in this county, and it's a very high quality chess compared to the number of people in the area. It's a great tournament, and I encourage people to come down and just to watch if they want.
The second and final round is this Sunday from 10 until 4, and it takes place at Cordisco's Corner Store at 308 Shenango Street in Binghamton.
Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from round 5 of the Bilbao Chess Masters Final 2014. This is the other game in the Masters section. It's between Vallejo from Armenia, number 3 in the world as white, and Paco Vallejo from Spain as black. Paco is the current Spanish champion. Let's get to it. Aronian is white, Vallejo is black. It's going to be another Queen's Gambit declined. We just saw that in the other round 5 game. Takes, queen takes, e takes, e4. Typical stuff. Knight c6. We've all seen this a million times. Bishop, d takes, queen takes, king takes. Now those of you that are wondering if knight had taken instead, just so the avoidance of castling, take that back here. D takes, and then knight takes, queen takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, a6. And that's a small advantage for black. And it's going to be a hard time. He's going to have to go bishop to d3, attacking the knight. You go knight to c5. The knight's going to have to come back here. So rather than avoid all that, queen takes, king takes, knight, bishop e6, bishop d2. Pretty boring stuff, to tell you the truth. If you want to know the truth of it. I know black's king stuck in the middle of the board, but this is looking boring already. Sorry guys, but we'll see how this works out. Bishop b4, b takes, pawn takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Now, Vallejo's pawn structure is in a shambles. Don't know what's going to happen here. Knight takes, rook to b8. This is crazy stuff. I think bishop takes d2 check, then knight takes. You don't want to play knight takes, because that reconnects black's pawns. I mean, we're on move 14, and most of the pieces are missing. Rook to b8, castle's long, trying to win a piece with bishop takes, and it would check the black king. So the king moves. Rook, knight takes c4, rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. I mean, we're on move 18, and we're in a rook, double rook and pawn ending already. Rook, rook c2, rook b6. Now black's going to have a hell of a time. It's really easy for white to play this. You've got 3 isolated pawns here for black. And look at a nice pawn structure white has. In fact, they haven't even been moved yet. So none of them are really weak yet. It is going to be nightmarish. And black has to play exactly right to draw this. Let's see how he does. Rook, attack the pawn again. Rook's got to come up. Other rook. e5. Now you're attacking that pawn. Wow. Pawn up. King d6. Rather than take that pawn And once he attacks, the rook is going to bust up white's pawns. We decided not to do that and go g3. King to d6. Rook to a5. White's thinking I got plenty of time. I have plenty of time to go after those pawns. Now he's going after the weak a pawn. Rook f6, going after another pawn. f3, nice move. Rook guards horizontally. Rook to f7, guarding the pawn. I mean, you've got to make exact moves here for black in order to just draw. Rook, it's nightmarish. Absolute nightmarish. Rook to d3, decided not to take. Because he would turn around and take. And if rook took, this rook just comes back. After rook to b7, rook to d3 check. King moves over. b3. Just to stop that nonsense with the double rooks on the b file. And get back into going after black's isolated pawns. Rook b5. Rook a6. He doesn't want to trade. Rook goes back. Rook a3. Rook b5. Rook c3. Aronian is not going to let him off the hook. King to d6 for Vallejo. King to d2 by Aronian. Rook to d5 check. King goes to e3. Now his rook can get out. a5. Rook c4. Now the a rook can get out. Rook. Rook finally gets out. And look at this tangled mess. Rook. h4. h5. It's the only hope. Keep both rooks on the board for black to draw. g4. g6. King comes up. Rook takes. Rook takes. After rook takes c4, rook to d1. Now black's trying to get behind. Get some counterplay here. And if you notice, white can't get in. White's rook can't get in the position. Yeah, I'm having trouble talking today. So maybe black's got a chance, but not really. Computer shows it as dead even. f4. Rook checks. King to d3. Rook to d1. King to e3. Rook to e1. Now they're at move 42, but there was no second time control here. It's a 30-second increment. So rook to d3. Rook d1. e3. e1. That's a twofold repetition of those you're keeping track. And then he went d2. Because Levin knows there's no way he can lose this. And I've been in games like this before where if you're playing and there's only two results for you, a win or a draw, you'll play on. It's impossible for you to lose this. Whereas black, on the other hand, can lose this easily. So Levin decides to play on. Rook a1. Check. King takes. Rook c5 check. King d6. Rook takes, h takes, e3, rook, rook g5. Looks like white's got a going on here, but no, of course, after rook takes check, king to c5, g5 check, king to d4. Bring that king right over to the other side where you have your extra pass pawn. g3. Is this pawn dangerous? Rook to h2. a4. Rook to g2. Rook to h3. g2 all come out the same. There's no way he can queen that pawn, so he goes rook there instead. a5 check, king to a6, king, rook, still 0.00, rook takes, c5 check, king to a3, king takes a5, and that's it. It was a chance, I think, for white. And the part about this, and I played guys like this before, when you're on the receiving end, in this case, Vallejo is black, that you've got to play so precisely just to draw. It is mentally draining. And that brings up your odds, I think, of messing up even more. That you've got to concentrate so hard and worry about every little move, especially rook pawn endings. They can be maddening. Absolute nightmare sometimes. When white, on the other hand, has a free reign. When all those pawns are on the board and they had double rooks, white could basically do anything he wanted to with no repercussions. Black has to be so concentrated. That drains the heck out of you. Anyway, hats off to Paco Vallejo for holding on to that hard-fought draw. So that's the other game from round 5 of the Bilbao Chess Masters Final 2014. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I got a lot more again. Great. I'm really excited that this channel's starting to catch on a little bit. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And to those of you that have subscribed as well, thank you. Also, if you know any of your chess friends on YouTube here or anywhere else, if you could have them subscribe, I would be very appreciative. And as I always say, folks, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
It's an age-old game, and one local man wants to bring its popularity back to the area. John Cordisco hosted the 4th annual Broome County Chess Championship this weekend at Cordisco's Chess Center in Binghamton. About a dozen chess enthusiasts joined the tournament, vying for a piece of the prize money, a trophy, and, of course, bragging rights. This year, David Gogan took first in the open section, and Daniel Dudley took first in the reserve section. Cordisco, who actually grabbed second in the reserve section, says chess is more than just a game.
If you're a player, it's hard to describe. There's a quote that I use all the time, that if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right.
Cordisco holds the tournament each year in memory of his brother, Francis Cordisco. He hopes to bring back the love of chess to the Southern Tier, where it once thrived in the 70s during the Bobby Fischer glory days.